I'm going to sew an inset seam, which is basically a corner seam. I'm going to sew the top into the bottom. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stay stitch the bottom. I'm going to sew just a line at about 4/8 of an inch, just in the center of this inverted V. So I'm going to start to sew. I'm not even going to bother reversing. Right down to the middle, pivot, and then come up the other side. And then stop. Pull my threads. So a stay stitch seam is a temporary seam. Not like a basting stitch. A basting stitch is stitch length 4, whereas a stay stitch is at 2.5. It's just a standard stitch to hold something in place. And now what I want to do is fold this in half. I want to find the exact middle, and I'm going to do a clip right straight through to that stitching, but not through it, but quite close to it, so that I've done a clip right in the middle. And the stay stitch is going to protect where I've cut so that it doesn't go any further. Then I put this down, good side up, and I'm going to put good to good. I'm going to match this up with this corner sticking out, but it's matching at the 15 or the 1.5. So I'm going to pin that side, and then I'm going to pin it right down to where that clip is. So I'm going to mark a pin there. Then I'm going to line it up at the 15, start, reverse, take that first pin out, and keeping this at the 15, I'm going to sew right down to that pin, which is the exact center. When I get there, I'm going to go needle in, foot up, I'm going to remove that pin, and then I'm going to pull that center of the triangle up, and I'm going to match this side. And again, the triangle is sticking out at the end, but it's matching at the 15. I'm going to pin that, and I just have to lift this up a bit, make sure all the edges are flat and the edges are matching as well. And then I put the foot down and pivot, and now I'm going to sew in the other direction. So I sewed up to the middle on one side, and now I'm sewing from the middle down to the other side. On the 15, reversing at the end. Cut those threads. And now you're going to bring this to the steamer to press. So if you look at the good side and you see a little pucker at the center, at the V, you can always go back with your scissors and cut a little bit deeper. As long as you're not cutting through the stitching, you can cut at this point through the stay stitch, but not through the final stitch. And then lay it flat on the wrong side, hold it tight with a little pressure, and press that seam up and flat on one side, and then the other, and then on the very tip at the center. Flip it onto the good side. And notice I've got an almost perfect V. It's centered, the edges are meeting, and if you want, you could go now and top stitch this down. It's optional, but it does draw attention to it. You can in fact barely see it because it's matched in so well, it's almost camouflaged. But there you have an inset seam.